All right, all right, all right. So, how are we doing on this fine Saturday morning? It is going to be 60 degrees today. It was already outside with Leia. Spring is definitely, thankfully, thank God, in the air. Although next week we're supposed to have one, two, three, four, five straight days of nothing but rain. So I got to do all my tree trimming and all of that here in the next 2 or 3 days. So if you don't hear from me, I had a heart attack trimming the trees, and I won't be here for that day's noon stream, I suppose. So last night, yeah, it was not. It was not. It was just not. And we all know what happened last night. And so where we are right now is that the Bruins play the Flyers at 3 o'clock today. And now the interesting thing is while we need the Bruins to lose that game so that we could stay only 8 points back for whatever that's worth, the irony is that if the Flyers should win that game, they would actually move ahead of us and be closer to Boston than we are. And it just starts to get to the point where you look at the standings and you realize we're in last place. We've been in last place, and we might finish in last place. I last night was the game you had to have, and while I know there's some controversy there, you got to score goals. So, how we doing, Colin? There was a goal overturned just like the one last night in Wednesday's Avs game. Nelson hit the goalie glove with the stick. I I don't understand it. Now, somebody did say in the recap, the answer was that because Tarasov's glove was technically outside of the crease, that the offensive player is entitled to that space. However, his foot was in the crease and Tarasov couldn't move. So, I mean, it's all just it's just a massive judgment call, I suppose, over and over and over again, and it's never the same thing twice. I like what Tarasov said. Good for him. Good for him. I hope the rest of the guys on the team to get together and pay his fine for him. Hey, how you doing, Miami sports? An NHL analyst thinks Bob to the Canadians is a good fit for Cole Caulfield in a first. That's my trade. They want Bobrovsky, Cole Caulfield in a first, and then we get Bob back after the season. Bob still comes back and signs with us. Screw that. How you doing, Hungry? Yeah, Icy. Good morning. Yeah, the tank for Gavin. I mean, I don't think it's going to happen either way. Like, I think Kyle is probably accurate, especially when you factor in Bobrovsky and Tarasov. We're not going to tank with those two guys in net. So while we probably won't make the playoffs, we probably also will play respectfully enough to not get the higher draft pick. Hey, Bex. Hey, Goats there. I probably won't die. I haven't had any heart palpitations yet today, so I'm slowly getting better. Beck says, I accepted it long ago. I don't think I'll give up on my thought process and hope it unless we're out of it, but I've accepted we most likely won't make the playoffs. Yeah, Bex has the answer there, or Hungry has the answer for you there, Bex. Yeah, let me read what he said. Let me pull up the thing here because George had the quote, and it was pretty good. So what Tarasov said was, let's see. Come on, read more. Tarasov said officials told him that there was contact, but it was slightly contact that is allowed. I don't know, like the rules, like they change all the time, every single game. He says there was contact before the shot. Who did the call on this? Toronto? What are these guys smoking? Are they disappointed for yesterday's Leafs loss? I don't know. It's hard to say. I went to play the puck and this guy drives into me and they said it was slightly contact, which is allowed because he's trying to tip the puck. I can't even move in a different direction and reach for the puck. 2 days ago, it was goalie interference when you touched the glove. It wasn't a goal. So yeah, he's fixing to get fined, and I love it. He can stay. Hey, David. David says, whoever said that is wrong, but it's clear Toronto doesn't want the Cats to be in this year. Vincent says, yeah, after 2 games, we're further back than we were, right? Well, especially if Boston beats Philadelphia today, we're 10 points out, and it's good night. At some point, it's time to pull the plug, right? Like if we had won yesterday and Boston lost today, then we'd be like 6 points out and no games in hand. And you could, but if we get to the point where we're actually further out, like you're saying, Vincent, we're further out from Buffalo. Forget Buffalo. The only chance now is some miracle catching of Boston. But so I think we're pretty much cooked. Icy says, I know we love our bubble, but it might be a smart decision to get something out of a 38-year-old goaltender. Right. Well, so like I've been saying, Icy, well, I understand that thought process. I do understand that thought process. If you get divorced, who's watching the kids? You can get the divorce, but who's going to watch the kids? What's the answer? What's the answer at goalie? For we've got this core that expects to compete for a cup for the next 2-3 years, etc. If you do move Bobrovsky, you open up a giant hole there, unless you're somehow convinced that Tarasov is going to be the guy, which he played really well last night. He's played well for us, but are we convinced that he's the guy? I don't know. I don't know. Bex, is there a video of it? It might be on George's YouTube channel. I read his article, but it might be on George's YouTube channel. I'll see if I can find it. Hungry says we should just roll the tanks for the rest of the season. That top 10 pick would be very useful. Well, I have no doubt there. Colin says Tarasov is the future after that post-game quote. Yeah, let me see if let me see if George put it on. Let me see. Let me see if there's. Yeah, so somebody's got it here on a. No, he doesn't have the actual. Let me see. It's a short. No, it's just somebody reading the quote again. I don't think George put it out. Let me see if he put it out on his channel. Doesn't look like it. Looks like he's just got Maurice, Kachuk, and Mikkola. Did he put it out as a short? No. So George didn't put out the video of it. So at least not that I see. Hey, hot dog. Yeah, can you imagine going back-to-back Stanley Cup champs and the next season having the first pick? I mean, the league would implode, right? Hey, true. We didn't get it yet, man. Davis says, again, since Toronto has decided they can put the screws through us when we are hurt, we should sit everyone, literally everyone, play all AHL guys and go next year. Yeah. So the top line, well, you know what sucks? Oh my God. Yesterday, before we even knew Schwint was hurt, I was saying the same thing, David, and I said the top line needed to be Schwint with Vilmanis and Samoskevich, and now Schwint is out long term, so we can't even do that. We can't even have Jesus. I mean, and Balinskis. Did anybody hear any updates over him? I didn't even hear anybody ask about him. Did he just have the runs or something? Like, we can't finish a game without losing a guy. Hungry Skinner. Goat Slayer says, I've been saying it. I think Tarasov is next man up. He needs more ice time. His stats outside of the win columns are actually very good. Yeah. I would hope you're right. I would hope you're right. Hey, Clark, where am I from? Born and raised in Miami. I live in Maryland now, but I'm old school South Florida, born and raised in Miami. Threw rats at the Miami Arena, grew up going to Coconut Grove and Fort Lauderdale Beach. That pretty much gives you the lay of the land. SoFlo says Tarasov has had one hell of a year and has little to show for it in the win column. I've been saying for a while that he should be starting next year. I have a feeling that was the plan anyway. He gave up 2 goals and almost 40 shots. Can't be mad at the guy. No difference. No disagreement there. Vincent says, forget about getting a goalie, just a guy. Losing a monster like Bobrovsky will be the end of the current team. Zito kind of put himself in the corner there. No doubt there. Roger wants to know if I'm going to live stream the NFL draft in April. It always depends on the hockey playoff schedule, because I believe if it doesn't conflict with playoff games that we need to stream here, then yeah, we probably would do the draft. But I think, I'm not sure what the date was last year, but I think last year was at the same time as playoff games. So if says, give Tarasov a deal, give Bob a pay cut, and run a 50-50 split next year. That, I'd be fine with that, SoFlo. I'd be fine with that. No problem. No questions asked. Colin says, yeah, top line of Vilmanis with Boquist and Samoskevich, right? That's what we need. He says, I get that, Jaws, but breathe and read, Jaws. I get that, Jaws, but Bob has done anything this year to prove that he's the guy regardless, so I think we need to figure out something out there. We do need to figure something out. We do. I'm not going to disagree there. But just I don't know, man. The guy wins 2 cups and then you just trade him like that. Like, I get it. I've been watching sports all my life, so I get how it works. But damn, that would I think I agree with Vincent. I think that breaks the whole team. Merritt says, I watched Balinska slip down the tunnel and just shook my head. He didn't need help, though. Oh, that's good. I mean, we can't finish a game. It's unbelievable. You emailed me. All right, Hungry. I'll take a peek at it. Just give me a second. Let's see what Hungry's got for us. I have to open up my other email here. Since my laptop has decided I need to do some cleaning up. Every once in a while I have to take the videos and put them on a thumb drive and get them off the laptop. So fans started doing that thing again yesterday while the video was producing, and Donna almost had a heart attack. All right, here, let me see. Let me get my let's see. All right, let's see what Hungry's got for us here. Let me get this going here. You know, what's great about this Hungry is that he kind of looks like Alex Jones more than Steve Daniels. Looks like Steve Dangle and Alex Jones had a baby. All right, I'm going to share this. I don't know what this is fixing to say, but I trust Hungry. So we're just going to, I can play this without watching it first, right, Hungry? All right, let me get to this. That's the joke, right? Okay, yeah. I mean, he looks like Alex Jones. All right, so let's see what Hungry's cooked up for us here.
Listen to me right now. This is not a drill. Austin Matthews just shook hands with him in the White House, smiling like it's normal, like Canada isn't literally being annexed on live television.
Steve, it's just a photo op after they won gold.
Photo op? That's what they want you to think. That's what the deep state hockey media tells you. Oh, it's just sportsmanship. Sportsmanship doesn't come with tanks rolling across the 49th parallel.
There are no tanks.
They're warming up in Buffalo as we speak. I saw the chemtrails over the Peace Bridge this morning. Matthews is compromised. Kachuk, too. They're Canadian captains, and they're literally handing the keys to the rink to the 51st state emperor.
Dude, it was a handshake. People shake hands. You shake hands with refs after games.
Refs aren't trying to absorb us into America. This is treason on ice skates. I'm not saying Matthews should have body checked the president, but maybe a little cross check, a subtle elbow, something.
You're literally shaking right now.
Because I care about this country. Because when they turn Scotiabank Arena into a re-education camp for disloyal Leafs fans, you're going to wish you listened. Skate straight or lose your citizenship. That's the new chant.
Steve, breathe.
I just wanted to do a quick video about the power play. That's all. Matthews on the left half wall, Nylander in the bumper, normal stuff. And now I'm the crazy one for pointing out we're being annexed?
You called it cultural genocide by Zamboni.
Because it is. They're going to repaint the blue line red, white, and blue. The national anthem is going to be replaced with some awful country song about monster trucks.
You need water.
I drank 3 double-doubles already. I'm vibrating, but I can't stop. If I stop, they win. If I stop, Canada becomes Florida North.
You're scaring the neighbors again.
Good. They should be scared. We should all be scared. Except Matthews. He's probably golfing with the enemy right now, smiling, while our sovereignty melts like ice in warm beer.
I'm leaving.
No! Don't leave me with the globalists. They're in the comments already. Touch grass, they say. Grass! Grass is the first thing they'll pave over when the annexation starts. Do you think people think I'm weird?
Yeah, Steve, a little.
Okay, I'm gonna go lie down now.
So I have a question for you.
Listen to.
I have a question for you, Hungry. Hold on, let me get back over here to the chat. Is this little part on his mustache here? Is that on purpose? Is this little white part of the mustache like the Hitler milk mustache? Is that on purpose there? Yes, I figured. I thought it was, Hungry. Well done. Well done. Okay. So Vincent says all this talk with trade and return is unrealistic also. Remember, Marchand didn't go back to Boston, and there are better rosters that's going to kill to get a guy like Bob. Bob's agent got Kaprizov $17 million. Then that's true. That's true. That's only the finest Colombian marching powder. Oh my God. Ray Patel says, man, Dangle going nuts on the USA and apparently a big story in the past 24 hours. I didn't see that. What I saw was the Jim Carrey thing. I don't know. I guess that's him. I don't know. I guess that's Jim Carrey. If they say so. I haven't been. I only watched the Dangle video, the recap of the Panthers game. I haven't seen what he's been saying. I had to turn that stuff off. It just got too crazy. You know, it just got to be. I got enough problems without getting frustrated with that stuff. Is what it is. But yeah, so look, I understand what you're saying, Vincent, about the Bobrovsky thing. I mean, look, I've been honest about it. My personal opinion is I'll be shocked and I'll be pissed. Now, I mean, if we get like 2 firsts and Cole Caulfield from Montreal, I might change my mind. I don't think that's fixing to happen, right? But it just, I hope not. I hope Montreal isn't in the spot because that would be a big problem. Although, if we did trade Bobrovsky to Montreal, if we did, it would give us an answer to the question of who are we rooting for in the playoffs. Because if we could watch Bobrovsky beat Tampa with Montreal, I suppose we would be content with that, right? Like if that's how it went down, it's out of our control. We would be good with Bubba taking Tampa out. Is that an agreeable statement? Philip says, I don't blame Swaggy for that turnover yesterday. What the hell was that pass by Reinhart? We were dingle-dangling too much there for a while, Philip. That's for sure. What am I smelling now? That's got to be outside. Mike says, where's Dangle with the Peros and Campbell comments after last night? I thought we'd get a recall. Right? Yeah. I mean, Paul Maurice lost his mind, man. He was flailing and wailing around. I don't blame him. Frank says, so when are we trading Bob and Rodriguez to the Sharks for Sherwood and a first-round pick? Let's see. You think that's the move there, Frank? Let's see. No, that can't be the move. Why would that be the move? Are we talking about the same guy? Frank, are we talking about the same guy there? Phil says it's interesting. The hockey guy was saying that the Sabres' second goal was not interference. I guess it's a part of the game. I don't know because the Panthers broadcasters thought it was clearly interference, as did Tarasov. So apparently what some people are saying is that because Tarasov's glove was out of the crease, that the player is entitled to have his stick in that area. But my retort to that is, okay, what about the foot in the crease? The player had his foot in the crease. So I don't know, man. It's just a crazy judgment call that we end up going through the same thing over and over again. Every fan of every team has the same moments of like, what? How is that not interference? Or why is that interference? It's a problem because so much of it is apparently a judgment call. I got you, Craig. Yep. Frank, I'm smelling the downfall. We don't suck again. We're all right. Mike says, for all the people who want Bob traded, what's the succession plan? Who's playing goal for us next year trying to take us to another cup? Some feel Tarasov is that guy. I'm not quite there yet. I wonder if what the plan was I wonder if Zito thought Bobrovsky would sign for lesser money and a couple of year deal and kind of platoon with Tarasov. And maybe Bob had other plans. Maybe Bob's not interested in that. So, I mean, we do know from past experience that every time it looks like one of the backup goalies is playing well and might take Bobrovsky's job, Bob all of a sudden starts playing well. So he may not be a share the net type of guy. And he may feel like he needs to play the 55, 60 games a year for him to be in good shape and have success. So it would suck. But boy, I would hope not Montreal. God, that would be hard. SoFlo says, I don't think the playoffs or a top 10 pick is very realistic right now. This is a very Dolphin-like season. Bingo. Absolutely bingo. And yeah, Bobby, I mean, we've looked at it 100 times. There's no free agent goalies. So it's Tarasov or you're trading for somebody. There's nobody out there that now the only guy that could maybe possibly be out there, I guess, if the Rangers really wanted to tear it down and rebuild, is Shesterkin. I mean, I suppose that's always a possibility. I can't imagine what we would have to give up to get Shesterkin. That could get ugly. But, you know, if you didn't have Bob's 10 and you had to move like Samoskevich and Verhage and a first and maybe something else for Shesterkin, I was going to say then you could go get Brady Tkachuk. She wouldn't have any assets to go get Brady Tkachuk either. So I don't know. Craig says, imagine if Benny or Marchand did the same thing. Oh, that's no doubt about that. Frank's got the right attitude. He says, who cares about the goalie interference? We can't effing score. David, you and I agree there. He says, if you hit the goalie's glove as he's trying to catch the puck, that's obvious goalie interference. Again, the fix is in no playoffs this year, so sit everyone. To me, it's a no-brainer. I agree with you 100%. Like, if he's trying to catch the puck and the guy, like, whacks and hits his glove, like, how is it not goalie interference? I don't understand. Icy says, how is Cooper Blackman looking down in Charlotte? Good, decent, solid. He's not tearing it up. He's kind of on another team, he might get an opportunity. On a team that's trying to build something and doesn't really have many expectations, maybe he'd get an opportunity to be the backup and start progressing. But on this team where the expectation is pretty much Stanley Cup or bust, he's not going to get a chance until he either gets moved somewhere else or we absolutely get into a bind and need him because of injuries. Frank, you think Stolarz is the plan? I don't know. I think Stolarz is kind of cooked with his injury history now. Miami Sports says, what if we trade Bob to Seattle for who? I don't know about that. Would Bobrovsky even want to go to Seattle? Remember, he's got a no move clause, whereas it's 16 teams. Not sure on the Seattle thing. I'd have to look. Patel says trade Bob to the Oilers so they can finally have a goalie. Well, for who though? They don't have the cap space. I'm sure they'd love him, but they would have to send us. They would have to send us cap. They'd have to send a player. Hey, JC. Let's see. Igor Shesterkin's contract. He is signed through the 32-33 season. So yeah, he won't be a free agent anytime soon. So he's signed for what's that? He signed an 8-year, $92 million deal December 6th of 24 that started this year. So he's got 7 more seasons. So yeah. Good luck with that. Vincent says, the funny thing is I've read a report about Montreal and the same day Bob appeared in the new set, which would fit nicely for the Canadians. Mike says Shesty isn't even a possibility, Jaws. Yeah, no, I know. I'm making it up because that's really the level where we're at, where it's like if you remove Bobrovsky, you know what I mean? That's it. It's like, what are you going to do? Trade for Shesterkin or Vasilevsky? Tampa will give us Vasilevsky, right? They'll feel bad for us and give us Vasilevsky, I'm sure. Hungy says, how much would offloading Shesty's $12 million a year be worth to the Rangers? I guess it depends on how fast they feel like they can rebuild and what he wants to do, right? Yeah, Demko's always hurt. Vincent said they'd never trade Shesterkin, even their GM's not that stupid. Patel says, I don't know, but it seems like Samoskevich has a sophomore slump. I don't know if he'll be back. I don't know either. He's got the tools. He's got the speed. He certainly has the willingness to play physical. Whether or not he's going to develop the ability to play physical, I kind of want to root for the kid because he does. I think he's like second on the team in hits. He just doesn't do any damage when he poor kid. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens there. I mean, there's any number of directions that we can go, but like Vincent said up above, I mean, like Zito kind of painted himself into a corner here with what everybody's here, everybody's signed, like they expect to win. So we'll see. Sofo says it's not about McKinnon, it's about having the number one pick versus not having one. This is a completely lost year if we land in the 11 to 16 range. How far away are we from that? So let's see. Teams with fewer points than us. 1, 2, Jesus. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So right now there's 10, 11. How many points do we have? 61 or 63? 63. So yeah, we're at like 12 right now. We're like 12, 13. I mean, the Canucks have 43 points. Good God, right? And then we're not going to end up worse than the Flames, Sharks, teams that we're not going to fall underneath, most likely. Sharks, Flames, Canucks, Blues, Blackhawks, Jets. So there's 6 teams we're definitely, for lack of a better phrase, not going to fall beneath. The Preds at 61, the Kings at 60, they're probably going to go up. And then in the East, it's the Leafs in the Atlantic, and then we're not going to fall lower than the Rangers, probably not lower than the Devils. So it's possible that we could end up in that 9-10 area, but I think that's the worst it would get. Hungry says, the part that really pisses me off about games like yesterday is that somehow we always manage to score right after giving up the empty netter. Yeah. Philip says, Bob for Draisaitl, make it happen. All right. I mean, but then Bob comes back. I'm sure it's going to be like a Panarin thing where whoever would trade for Bobrovsky, if it did happen, he'd want that contract immediately, right? Yeah, I agree with you, Bobby. I don't think Shesterkin's going to get traded, but SoFlo is going to be weird not watching May hockey. We'll be there. Do I think the Flames would move Wolf? I'm not so sure what his situation is going to be. Like last year, it looked like he was going to be the dude. And now this year, I mean, 2.95 and 8.99. It's never good. I know the team's not really been great, but it's never good when a young goalie regresses like that a little bit. I suppose they probably won't move him, though, because they're years away and he's kind of years away. So I think they probably figure he's a match for them right now. Mike says, remember when we traded for Volkun? Our team sucked back then, but we needed a goalie badly and somehow pulled it off. That's the type of move we need for 26 right now. Vincent says, Jaws likes the tools, but hates the heart of Mackie Samoskevich. Latest report suggests. I didn't say that. I said he's willing to play That even shows more heart. That's a pretty good CNN headline there, though. The deal was 2 seconds and a first for Vokoun. I mean, I guess if somebody would, whoever would trade for him, I guess we'd have to eat his salary the rest of the year anyway, right? So that's probably going to be insignificant. They would still have to have, now, remember with the new cap rules, the salary isn't prorated. So if we eat half of Bob's salary, the other team still needs to have $5 million in cap space. From what I read, somebody can correct me if they have different information, but my understanding is that they got rid of the prorated part. So when you trade for a guy, his salary isn't prorated only for however many games are left. You have to have cap space for whatever that hit's going to be, as if it was for a full year. Not sure. I'm pretty sure that's how it's working now. That whole situation with the cap we didn't get any time to learn the rules. Like, we thought it was going to go in next year, and then all of a sudden they were like, oh, by the way, it starts now. It's pretty damn frustrating the way it's worked out. And these guys, Jones is going to come back, Nosek is going to come back, Kulikov is going to come back. They're all going to come back, and it's not going to matter because we're going to be too far out. What about Saros? He's just always injured. That's the problem with him. We looked at him yesterday. What's his contract? $7.74. He's signed through 32, 33, and I think that's the problem. In fact, this is his first year of the new 8-year deal. So I have a suspicion that we wouldn't be interested there. I mean, he's just always hurt, right? I mean, he's managed to play 44 games this year. Last year, 58. It's funny. He has a reputation of always being hurt, but when I look at his games played the last several years, 67, 63, 64, and then 58 starts last year, and he's got 44 this year. I mean, for a guy who has a reputation of always being hurt, no, excuse me, I'm thinking of Demko. I'm thinking of Demko. Saros, I mean, he just started his new contract, so probably not. I still say the best thing is to just try to convince Bob to stay for a couple more years, sign Tarasov. I would hope, but I would also expect that before the end of the trade deadline that we get somebody signed to be our goalie next year. Like, even if it's just Tarasov as an extension to possibly be the guy. Like, we don't even have Cooper Black under contract for next year. Like, we got to have some, you know what I mean? You don't want to go into free agency with nobody signed. And maybe if Tarasov signs, that'd give us a little bit more, I hate to say it, but negotiating room with Bobrovsky. That whole situation is just, I know Bob's the guy that likes to live in the moment and all of that. But I just wonder who's the one with cold feet. I wonder if it's Zito because of how Bob has played, or I wonder if Zito has said, here you go, man, 2 years, $7 million, and Bob's not biting. Lilia, will they trade Bobrovsky? You don't want him to go. We agree there. My contention is that I'd be shocked if they did it. I'd be shocked, but I wouldn't be. You know what I mean? It's sports, so there always has to be that little room for the possibility. I can't express how much I hope it doesn't happen, but at the end of the day, if Zito feels like that's the best move to make, it's hard to argue against what Zito's done, you know. Hey, Great White says the Sharks have 58 points. We only have 63. We'll beat the Panthers in points this year. Come on, Shark, buddy. Well, I don't know. We might want the Sharks to jump us because if we're talking about a better draft pick, right? But they've lost, 5 straight now? How many games in a row have the Sharks lost? 5 straight. Yeah, they had a good little blip there. Even with our stinky 63 points, if we were in the West, we'd be tied for the 8th seed. If we were in the West, we'd be tied for the 8th seed right now. And Bobby is saying we may already be out of the race, right? Mike says, I agree with you. Bob isn't ever going to be a backup. At the same time, I think Bob can't handle a number one workload anymore. Most likely, you're correct. You seen how good he looked the other day after the rest, right? You seen how well he was moving and how he was tracking the puck, and he really looked good, even though we allowed an obnoxious number of shots compared to what we normally do. Yeah, I don't disagree with you, and maybe that's the sticking point. Maybe it might just be it, man. It might just be where, Bob wants to continue to be the 55, 60 game guy, and Zito kind of wants to mitigate that a little bit. So, but if Tarasov can play the way he played last night, right? Hungry Howard at KHL goalie's looking. Might as well take a long shot. We have this one other guy, Jarius Miuk. I think that's how you pronounce his name. We do have one other goalie. Let me see. Kirill Jeresmiuk. So we drafted him in 21 in the 5th round. He's 6'2", $178. He's from Russia. He's got my birthday. He's born on August 22nd. So good dude. Good dude. He's been playing for the Checkers this year with a 2.25 and a 9.06 in only 13 starts. And then he's also played in the ECHL for the Savannah Ghost Pirates at a 2.35 and a 9.02. So he's around. I don't know why he hasn't played more games. I guess Cooper Black's been getting most of those starts. Like I said, he's not the biggest guy in the world, but he's another Russian goalie that we have. So I do wonder if there's something there, if the team believes that he's going to develop. He's only 22. Like Cooper Black, I think, is 25 at this point, or 24. Vincent says Zito has no leverage at this point. Bob will get his 4 times 11 in Vegas, Montreal, or San Jose. Not even a question. That's how you. I mean, if that's how you feel, that's how you feel. If now why we would let him walk, and I don't know. Hopefully Zito's got a plan. I trust Zito. I trust Zito. You know what I mean? But we've had a lot of comings and goings at the goalie department. That's for sure. And I just kind of feel like, I don't know, maybe we should have had this discussion with Bob before we traded Spencer Knight. I'm just thinking out loud. Right? Silver says, breaking trade alert. There's been no trades. Yeah. No, I know, Lilia. He wants to stay, so I'm hoping. We're all hoping, right? Hey, thank you, Great White. Thank you, brother. Thank you, Great White. Thank you, man. He says Sharks had a great run for a while, but it's over now. Yeah. What's the song by Roxette? It must have been love, but it's over now. Exactly. They'll be around. they'll be around. In the immortal words of the Spinners, I'll be around. See how I did that? Yeah, the Sharks were almost. I mean, look, they're not all that far out. What are they, 5 points out? I mean, theoretically, they've lost 5 in a row, and they're still only 5 points out with 2 games in hand. Like, I wouldn't guarantee them out just yet. So we'll see. It would be fun to see them pull that off. Bob says if we still had Knight this year, he'd probably gotten injured. Shit. Oh my God, I want you to be wrong, but you were so right. You were so freaking right. He says Schaefer turned the Islanders into a playoff team. Yeah, the Isles, they're there. You know what I mean? Are we doing we're going to do a trade deadline stream. Yeah. So it's in the middle of a back-to-back. So, where the hell's the schedule? So we play the Jackets on Thursday and the trade deadline's on Friday. So probably what will happen is instead of a noon stream that Friday, we'll probably start in the morning, and then we'll obviously go until the trade deadline like we did last year at 3. And then we've got a game that night. I'm sure that whatever direction we're moving in, even as fans, we're going to know by then. Like, I mean, if we lose to the Islanders or even the Devils, like it's just lights out, man. Mike says Tarasov is a pretty good goalie, but we don't know 2 things. Can he handle a number 1 workload, and can he cook in the playoffs? He's a gamble. Yeah, I no disagreement. I mean, I'd be fine with bringing him in as 1 or 2, you know what I mean? Like in the platoon next year. But to just have a whole ass team that thinks they're going to win the Stanley Cup with an unproven goalie, I don't know. It's a shame we lost Bussy, huh? A Bussy Tarasov pairing next year. That would have kind of worked. Yeah, Spencer Knight's been really good. Let's see. How old is Tarasov? I believe 26. Let's see. Let's find his all the way down. Here we go. 26. He's 26. Yeah. Big dude, 6'5", 203. This might be the guy. He's only hold on a second. Excuse me. That went down the wrong way. Damn it. I think I'm okay. He's Kyle's age. Tarasov is Kyle. He's born 10 days after Kyle. Kyle was born 3/17, 1999. Tarasov was 3/27, 1999. And 279,903 is nothing terrible, nothing fantastic. Obviously, his numbers before he came here was not great. And I know it's Columbus, right? I know it's Columbus. But he has been playing with the same team as Bobrovsky. Boy, I'm going to die right here. Hold on a second. Excuse me. I don't want to keep doing this in the mic to you guys. Okay. All right. Now I'm not going to die on camera. That's good. So, but, he's played 20 games, right? Last year, he played 20 games for Columbus, 3.54 and an 8.81. The year before, 24 games, 3.18 and a 9.08. The year before, 17 games, 3.91 and an 8.92. So his numbers have gotten way better, and that's fine. But that's a slim resume. That's a slim resume to just say, okay, you're the next Bobrovsky, you know? Yeah, I'm okay, Lily. The water went down the wrong way. Icy says, looking back at the Jones and Knight trade, would I still do it knowing what I know now? Yes. 100%. We won another cup. I wouldn't change a thing. I wouldn't change a thing. Yeah. You know what I mean? Sometimes, Zito pulled the hard cord there, right? The pick to get Marchand was easy, but he looked at the defense and knew if we wanted to win again, we had to take some of the heavy minutes off of Forsling and Ekblad, and that's what he did with Jones. And you've seen the difference since he's been out. It's rough. Bobby says you could say every goalie is a gamble. Absolutely. Yeah. So, of course, the question would be then, you're playing the what-if game, obviously, but if you did move Bobrovsky and you made Tarasov the guy, you still need another guy. Hey, David. Safety word avocado. Lilia thinks Zito needs to let the Panthers rest for next season, let the injured players rest. No doubt. We're approaching that point. We might get there by the end of the day. If Boston beats Philadelphia, we're going to be 10 points out. And what's the rest of the schedule here for today? The Penguins are already beating the Rangers 1-0. The Bruins play the Flyers. The Oilers play the Sharks. Devils, Blues. Hawks, Avalanche. Islanders, Jackets. Sabres, Lightning. Flames, Kings. Wings, Hurricanes. Senators, Leafs. Capitals, Canadians. Preds, Stars. And Kraken and Canucks. So there are a ton of games that matter. But the real one is the Bruins and the Flyers. If the Bruins beat the Flyers, we are 10 points out with 23 games left. And at that point, while it's not mathematically impossible, you just, at some point, you have to be honest and realistic about things. If you're coming out of the gate, if you're in the Panthers position last night and you're coming out of the Olympic break and you know how far behind you are, not only did we not beat Buffalo, but I'm not saying it wasn't close, but what the Panthers that were winning the cup, the teams that won the cup, would have come out last night and won that game 5-1. They would have come out last night and whooped Buffalo's ass and said, we run this shit, okay? And we're giving every last little bit of energy that we have and still not winning the games. And once I saw, we got the 3-0 lead against Toronto, and then we kind of coasted the rest of the game. And you're like, all right, well, you know what? They're resting for the second game. But once I saw that first period yesterday, there's no other gear. Like there's no other gear that they're going to find. This is pretty much it. You know what I mean? So Mike says Detroit and Buffalo aren't as young as people think. No, they've been hovering for a while. They're not. It's not like like Dylan Larkin's not a young dude, right? How old is Tage Thompson? I mean, I'm not saying Larkin's not young, but he's not 22. And how old is Tage Thompson? 28. This guy's been around for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. This is his 10th season, 10th season. So yeah, they're not like Montreal young, Hey MJ, how you doing, bud? Yeah, the month did go by fast. No, we agree. It might just be the dagger. It might be it. Great White, I hope you're right about Bob not going anywhere. I mean, look, we're fixing to find out. I'd love to hear an extension, Boy, would I love to have my afternoon interrupted by having to do a Sergei Bobrovsky contract extension video. I would love that. Mike says if we had the 3-2-1 point system where we reward regulation wins not the same as the shootout wins, we're in the playoffs and Montreal is out. That's so crazy. Yeah. Well, we've blown so many games last night, where you have to get the point. You go to the third period, you're tied, you're at home. You have to get those games to overtime. You have to get those points. And the amount of times that we have allowed the other team to score 2-3 goals in the third period, and then we end up with no points, it pretty much is the difference. Oh, you might be moving to Austin. Interesting. No rebuild. No rebuild, MJ. These guys just need a timeout. They need some time off. Yeah, Tage is as old as Chucky. Yeah. He's 28. He's 28. 6'6", 220. Good God, that's a big dude. Yeah, and the first 1, 2, 3 seasons, he didn't do a whole much. I guess the third season he must have been injured that season. And then it wasn't really even until 21-22 when he started just exploding into the player he is now. Hey, Ted, how you doing, buddy? Yeah, I understand that for sure, man. MJ, yeah, Donna's still working. She's still working nights. The electric bill was only $650 for so that's good. It wasn't $1,000 again. That's nice. We just been turning off the heat in the she likes the room colder at night, so I just been freezing at night. So, and then I turn on the heat when I wake up. John says, hope I'm not too late, but on Bob's assessor, it'd be irrelevant as long as it's not expensive. If this team had $9 million to pad the roster, we could win with Jaws and net. I hear what you're saying, right? Yeah, I mean, we are going to have some. Well, we would have his money plus kind of the $9 million, because some of these guys aren't going to be here next year. And we've talked about that. The roster size, like, we can't keep all of these players going into next year. Some people have got to go. Mike says Detroit, Buffalo, Montreal, Boston, they saw Barkov go down and said, now's our time. Keep every game close and we're gravy. Yep. No doubt. Yeah, only $650. Yeah, exactly, MJ. David says, so yeah, we need to score more, but if every close plays goes against you and the other team keeps getting almost 0 pens against and still missing 7 key guys, makes it impossible. I hear you, man. Excuse me. You pay $40 a month in your wife's condo? Yeah, no. Nope. It is what it is. It's all right. Bobby says Darlene is a pretty captain, aside from the fact that he scored in his own net. He wanted to help us out, right? He wanted to make things a little bit closer for us. It is what it is. So, all right, guys, I got to roll. That's about it for me today. I'm not going to be here tomorrow at noon, but we got tomorrow night's game. So the game starts at 6:30, and so I'll start the member stream about 5:30, 5:45, and then we'll just see. We'll just see how it goes, man. David, it's just. Yeah, no, I haven't, David. I've been getting out the last couple of days and trying to get back out there. Yesterday, my plan was to go to the store and to the gym, but I wasn't feeling it all that well. Mike says, Ari Sergei Bobrovsky, rumors. I'd be very surprised if he ends up moving. I guess it's possible they're going to try to re-up him for a couple of seasons. That was an hour ago. See, now that's good stuff. That's the stuff we believe in, right? Good stuff. Perfect way to end the stream. Thank you, bud. All right, everybody. I appreciate you all. Thank you all for the super chats. I shall see you mañana. Enjoy your Saturday.